Okay, so the fourth industrial revolution, to understand where it comes from, you have to understand its origin. So you have to understand the first, the second, and the third industrial revolution. And industrial revolutions come from a change in the society due to a disruptive technology. And the first disruptive technology that appeared was the steam energy and steam engine. Steam engine replaced a lot of hard labor, changed the way people was working, as well as the way was using horses, where it comes the horsepower origin definition. And then on the second industrial revolution was the electricity. And same again, it was another way to harness energy, which have dramatically changed our society, the way we was living, including human rights, more time for people to be able to enjoy life, which created more time for entertainment industry, which started to flourish at that time. And so it changed the behavior, created middle class, as well as take down slavery, because machinery was able to do the hard job and was becoming economically viable. At the same time, all the different jobs was getting improved, less hard, less risky, as well as being better paid and rising up the level of poverty. The third industrial revolution arrived with computers, and this is what have changed the world that we know nowadays, and a lot of people have experienced this change, especially in their youth, where all of a sudden a lot of job which was really repetitive to entering data using punch cards and all those type of things was replaced by computer entry, computer calculation that was doing much better job, faster, and was much more accurate and efficient, removing human error from it. This type of automation through computation gave birth eventually to internet. And that's where with the connectivity of all the computer, connectivity of machinery, but as well connectivity of human people, like mail, transport. We can exchange information between somebody from one side of the planet to the other in an instant. And this is actually what gave birth to the fourth industrial revolution. This connectivity between machinery and the Internet of Things that we speak a lot about. But fourth industrial revolution, for once, is not just that, is that it's have been many technology that have started to mature together, like a lot of biotechnology, nanotechnology, and so forth. There's many examples of really high disruptive technology, such as being able to modify the genomes or example as such. But of course there's robotics, automation that have much smarter machinery with much bigger processor capability, where they can do much more complex tasks, automated vehicles. All those are encapsulated into the fourth industrial revolution. And why is the fourth industrial revolution? Because it's going to change once more the way we live, the way we work, and the way we spend our time day to day, or a type of entertainment as well. Like you can see it with a smartphone. And example as such which make us always connected. We are much more close to the machine. Natural interface come more and more available. So we interact much more seamlessly with the technology. and we kind of go into the cybernetic type of edge, where human and machine become one. This industrial revolution has changed industry in a number of ways, such as dark factory, where you have no person effectively working in the factory, where factory and manufacturing is actually becoming a smaller part of the business, and where all the attention are on the social and interaction with the customer, better quality with the customer, while having a customized product which have no intervention from human from the time you order it online to the time you receive it, saving a lot of cost and time, while you can have a bespoke solution for the price of a wholesale solution. And this is really disruptive, because now the work is going to be much more focused on marketing, on development of application to make easier the interaction of system and so forth. Our company provides machinery automation for factory. We develop custom solutions for the purpose they look at automatized, as well as off-the-shelf solution for products that already exist in the market. As an example, we can provide automation of bread factory, chili factory. We can provide we have provided a solution to do mold extraction, verify the quality of the parts, and be able to record it in the database, showing the information that need to be improved or not. There is an example of jobs where you harvest the number of data that have been picked up, such as, for instance, the number of breads, the number of different parts that you look at, and have a software with a nice sharp pie and so on that show you where is the improvement. As well, it can help for preventive maintenance. So when the part reaches the cycle time, it can be recorded and sent an alert through email saying this needs to be maintained. If there is a difference of speed or a difference of pressure in the pipes, we can detect that and provide information, so the machinery gets repaired in time where it's programmed for, rather than having a breakdown which stops the productions and costs a lot for manufacturing, where they have to include those type of costs. Okay, in the near term, what's going to impact our society is what already some companies have done. So like Nike, you can order shoes nowadays online and get it without having touched by a human. You get different products from different places, where it will not matter anymore about where is the cheapest wage, but it will matter about where is better quality product, because the only difference will be the initial cost of machinery to develop the factory, and then all will be about quality of service, quality of product. So the orientation will be that even now the manufacturing country and the first industrial country are able to get back their factory into their own country, because they can prove that it is much more efficient to run machinery than to work with cheap labor. And so they end up to employ much more people to be able to sustain that and become much more competitive. So the dynamic of competition worldwide will be different, will look at having a different type of economy. And for day-to-day life of people, it would be starting to see much more autonomous vehicles, much more automated machinery around that will facilitate their life, while having a bigger emphasis of people looking for feedback, speaking with them, having a quality service oriented with human. And all the jobs will start to be oriented more about intuition development, media, and entertainment, as well as technology. One of the biggest challenge for the young people is to get the education being reformed. Because education as it is nowadays, it's built for what we'll call the first industrial revolution, which is set you for a specific job for all your life. Nowadays, we need to be flexible, a lot of job change. There will be more and more type of freelance, self-sufficient people that will have several jobs at the same time, that follow often their passion, and they would enjoy in a lot of ways much more freedom, although there is all the tracking of information which allow freedom and such, as Google and all those type of things that gives them a lot of access to different things they can do. The future of youth people will be everybody will need to know about how to program an application and interact with technology in one way or another. And this is essential to look at being more entrepreneur, being more understanding about how the economic flow as an individual, being more educated in a way that it's the industry demand require. So there's a big backlash between industry and schools. There might be 20 years delay, and so now we're trying to look at closing the gap, and the government's trying to make some efforts towards that, trying to see how school and industry can work together, put down the barrier, which is one as well of the emphasis of the fourth industrial revolution. It's not just communication between machinery and machinery, it's communication between people and people. All the different skill and fields now merge together, such as robotics have done. And thus such, education and work should be one. And I believe that it's nothing wrong to have young people from the age of 14 and so forth starting to work while still at school, or creating a company while still at school, and using it part of their courses to develop their knowledge and having much more practical development, such as an internship between companies, and understand what's work, rather than staying just in the school environment, which is not a reflection of what their life will be after school. Well, often what you see is that history repeats itself. And from the time that we have looked at the first industrial revolution, there have always been worry and groups that have always claimed that the machine was going to take their jobs. As a result, every single time, all the jobs that have been removed have been replaced by more jobs. And because we don't remember those jobs, we think that they might never have existed or things like that. But nobody wants to do those type of jobs nowadays because they're much harder. And that would be the same thing nowadays. Probably you will look in 50 years from now and go to a museum and see a welder and think like, oh, they was doing this type of job with breathing gas and all those type of things, when you can control a robot that does the job for you. And so it's the same logic, and it's have happened for the second, third, and now it's happening for the fourth industrial revolution, where technology disrupts the type of job we are doing, and we need to adapt, and there need to be a proper training and formation to be able to change job. However, I'm more confident to say that there will be more job created again than there will be taken off. And one of the things you can see is the rate of unemployment. Before, even like before the Industrial Revolution, having a wage was almost inexistent. And then once the start of wage came, child rights start to come, human rights start to come, women rights start to come, and that's all thanks to Industrial Revolution. Slavery stopped because machinery did the job for us. And as a result, we have got more and more jobs available because every time there is a new problem coming up, we have, someone said that the solution of today gives a problem of the future, and so when there is a problem, so you need people to work on the task of it. The future is filled of opportunity, and nowadays, given the chance to anyone to be able to do the job that they will always wish to do. And that wasn't the case 200 years ago. You would have been doomed to wherever you was born, it was a fatality. Technology offers us a much more egalitarian chance to be able to develop what we dream of and develop ourselves as what we like to do. In addition, this type of jobs using technology make human much more productive. And technology doesn't replace human. In fact, it enhances human and improve its capability, improve its productivity, which improve the amount of pay rate he is worth, because it's provide him more knowledge and much more things he can do in one go. An example of it is how you would have created a dam 100 years ago. Would have taken much more years than nowadays with machinery, excavator, and so forth, and it could have taken just a couple of years. When before it would have taken dozens of years, and it would have been hard labor, a lot of death, and so forth. When now it's much more safe and easier, and there is much more work. People are better paid, have much more free time, and that's helped a lot. So the future will keep going towards this direction, and there's really a lot of development that is exciting to see in the future.